It's a vibe crawling up and down your spine. It's alive.
Boys, we're back. It's been almost a whole month, huh?
It has been a month, I think.
Done a lot of things.
Have we
Went
though?
up, went up to go see Corpse.
Okay,
We
hold on.
did. We went to go see Corpse.
Yeah, let's just kind of go in a review. I'm gonna open up the pod chat, group chat. And while we do that,
What's up,
You say
everybody?
you're opening up the pod chat group chat?
Yes.
What's up, everybody,
I might have
for
to do
being
that
here?
too.
Thanks so much for coming. Welcome to the Usual Tuesdays. If you're not already
Let me see
Because
what
familiar,
I send you guys a
Little
lot of
podcast that we
shit,
do.
and then you guys be ignoring all my fucking.
bro, it's because people will send shit
No,
on
no.
Facebook, then
Okay.
on Instagram,
All right.
then on the main chat. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, we got
No,
too
no,
many
no.
things going on all at once.
Okay, here's what I want to say, just for the record of the group chat. Okay, between you guys, because I don't think. Oh, hello.
Whoa.
Just because I don't know if you guys noticed, but you guys went off on a crazy ass tangent.
No, we did
for like
notice.
3 days.
No, it
For
was
like
2
3
days.
days.
It was 2
Yes.
days.
Okay, 2 days. 2 days.
It was crazy. It was crazy though.
And D even called me and was like, "Yo, what's up? Like, what you think? Like, what are your thoughts on what we're talking about?" And honestly, I was like, I'm waiting to go take a shit so that I can scroll through all this. And then I was like, even after I took a shit, it was too much for me to go through. So I don't even know like
There's a
the
lot.
base of the whole argument between both of you guys. And that's what I want to say. Like, a lot of people think that we just like not argue, but like debate on the podcast. But it goes into our text messages. It goes
Transcends.
into our FaceTime calls. Like, we literally
had-
do this. We do this.
We had a 2-hour conversation after the comedy show, where
Yes, we went.
and there has
We
been
really
listen, there has been random moments I'm just pissed off, right? Like I'm pissed off at the world, and I just think how Damien likes to think that maybe they just had bad eyesight and they were malnourished. and
Okay,
that's
wait,
when he got the
wait.
Bible.
No. What I was saying was something that.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Welcome back to
Bad
another
eyesight,
episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. It's been almost a month since we've been live, guys, but welcome back to another episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. We are here for your listening pleasure.
We jumped in with a lot of non-context shit to be like.
We dove right in it, baby. We dove right in it.
What's up, Samuel?
We're trying to. We just want. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened throughout the month with the three of us, and so the first portion of the show is going to be filling everybody in on what the fuck has been talked about, what we've been doing. None of us posted the pictures of us together, which I felt dumb because I have all the pictures on my phone. So just bear with us while we get all of this going for everybody that normally listens to us. It's been a month. But welcome back to another episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. We're so happy that you guys are here. All right, go ahead. Whatever you guys were saying. I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
I want to say,
What were we?
Samuel says hi.
Well, you were talking
Both of
about
you.
Mount. Hey, Sam, I love the project. It was
Hey.
absolutely beautiful. I love the project, by the
Oh,
way.
hey, yeah. Can we real quick for Sandra?
We need to have. I need to talk to you guys about having him on. He's been doing some
'cause,
good
dude,
stuff.
he's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, he's been doing some good stuff, man, and not only on his stuff, but he's like working with other people. It's been really cool to hear about his stuff.
Yeah, there's another project that's coming out with one of his homies that I'm waiting for as well. That shit, the trailer that they dropped for that looks sick as fuck too. So, yeah, shout out to Sam, bro. That project was a good project. It was kind of slow in the beginning, like I didn't know what was going on. And then I kind of got it, and then I watched it back again, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it now. Like I get it.
No,
Yeah, man. His
putting in work.
stuff is definitely taken an interesting leap, I would say, from the first stuff I ever saw of his to that where you remember like we did that recording for him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like to like now, like the recent stuff's like, damn, bro, the boom, a Sam boom. It was a Sam boom. So I'm super stoked for him, man. Good job, dude.
No, he's hella talented. I've always praised him on that. I've always given him flowers for that. So
Man, fuck that guy.
Jesus. All right, flip on.
Oh wait, did you guys listen to the Dr. Zahi Hawass podcast I sent in the
I
podcast?
didn't, bro. That was the Joe Rogan thing, huh?
Yes.
No, I
Oh
didn't.
no, I didn't listen to that either.
I don't have a chance.
I haven't
Bro,
got a chance to yet. It's on my
that-
list.
that has to be the worst podcast I've ever listened to.
Jesus Christ.
Worst.
Is that bad?
I think the next closest one
was Trump's. You are right.
No.
That was
surprising.
Trump's was
his
bad.
wasn't as bad. He actually said some shit in there where I was like, that is very clippable.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say a bar, and I was gonna say he didn't drop any bars.
He didn't drop.
No, there was a couple bars. There was
no.
His biggest bar was he was talking about how, what was it? 1,000 appointees. I had a pound of 1,000 of them, and I made some bad choices. It was like, I'll take that. Like, that's a fucking bar. Like, because I think even for Biden, Obama, any of the presidents, I think one thing that the government and this is not to get too political, but I think one thing that we kind of need to fix.
Not too early, please. Not too early.
I was literally gonna say, let me stray this away right after whatever he's about to say. So, because
it's under 10 minutes, I promise, and I think we can all agree is anybody.
What's up, everybody? YouTube chat.
1,000 positions.
Thank you so much for being here.
Within the first 72 hours of you being hired anywhere is fucking bonkers, right? Like, that is, I think, something that we need to fix. No one's really got a plan on that, but I think that's something that we might need to address.
There's a lot to fix right now, bro.
Some adjustments.
Wouldn't you have all of the whole run? Never mind. Let's
please,
continue.
Because I'll get into all types of shit that we got to fix right now, because there's a lot. Anyways, back to what we were saying, right? We all linked up. It was awesome. I mean,
I haven't watched
Streamers
University.
Kind of late. It was what it was. We may have made a couple piss stops because motherfuckers got to piss and shit. I may have fallen asleep on Damien on the drive up.
Yeah.
Piss and shit. And, I may have fallen asleep on Damien a couple times up and back.
On me and on me.
And in him, that's just what it is.
No.
But anyways, we made it and it was awesome. We hung out with Corpse. We got to light a fire. Corpse almost killed himself.
Wait,
but we did.
Part.
We sat.
Wait, was
we
I
sat
not
around.
There for that part? What's happening?
Were you not? Oh, bro, this motherfucker was playing with.
No, he was. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, the gas shit, and he fucking lit it, and the shit. I thought Satan was about to be like, "Hello."
Wait, you gotta give a little bit of more of that, because even I was like, "Wait, what? I was there for that."
Hey, dog.
Paint me a picture with words.
Paint you a picture, like talk to you like you were 5 years old.
No, just give me like some descriptors. He leaned over, back cracking as the lighter crackles. A blistering flame. Like, give me something, bro. J.K. Rowling type.
Corpse has a fire pit in his backyard that's enclosed in bricks, and you got to turn it's propane, right? Is it propane?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's like propane based. So he was trying to light it through the rocks, but it wasn't lighting because there was no propane on. So he had to go to the back and turn the propane on, but he had already turned it on high in the brick part. But when he went to go turn the propane on in the back, I don't think he realized it was still on high. So when he came back, the propane was hissing. Ooh, you like that?
I like that. More
propane
adjectives.
was hissing. But then he leaned over to find one of the holes where the propane was hissing out of, and when he lit it, I'm surprised his luscious locks were not burned by the fire.
I'll get that hissing hole, baby. Find where that gas is coming from, son. You hear me?
You heard?
Blew up.
Yeah,
that shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was just like, it was crazy. But we sat down, we had a good conversation, and Corpse reiterated again how he feels that dinosaurs never existed, and
but I think we sat down, but Putch was like, I don't think dinosaurs are real. I was like,
it was pretty early in the
It was like we sat our ass down and we couldn't.
We went from inside like, y'all want some strawberries? Strawberry festival was going on, to outside like, hey, dinosaurs don't exist. And we were like, wait, what the fuck?
I was like, what the fuck? How did we wait? I missed like a part. I feel like I fast forwarded in a fucking video right now, and I just fast forward too far.
They're called dragons.
Yeah, but
that's
you have to turn the gas on.
Yeah,
now
I mean, it was a good time, and I wish we would have had more time to like take video and pictures and stuff. But just
Oh, that's
for
so
all like the avid listeners, just know it was nice for us to be together again. We hadn't been together in quite some time, so it was good. Yeah, it was good to like sit and chat. I wish we didn't have to go home because we could have sat and chatted for a lot longer, but you know, motherfuckers got work and shit. So
Yeah. Yeah, but it was super fun. I appreciate you inviting us out. That was really cool. That was
yeah,
really
no,
fun.
that was fucking the whole night was crazy, right? Because even remember like arguing with the lady first off about you guys getting in. Then we end up leaving out, and I'm arguing with the lady again because they cut one of the homies off, and is now not letting like a chunk of us not order drinks because of it. Uh, and so I'm like spinning, bro. I'm trying to get a paycheck from these people because we done did the fundraiser, which did really well. Um, again, thank you guys. Um, yeah, no, it was dope because it was like sitting back there. It was really a fucking usual. It was a UTP, but with just no camera on.
mhm.
You
And
know.
it was cool. The cool thing about it that I liked is that, you know, some people think like when you put a camera on you and you're talking or whatever the case may be, like you put on a show for the people. But for anybody that could have been a fly on the wall that night, they would have seen that this is like exactly how we talk to each other, even when we're in front of each other. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy. And even like if somebody was to get like leaked text messages from us,
We'd
they would
all
see
go to
that it's the
jail.
same exact shit.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Literally
I
our
mean,
podcast, but transcripted.
No,
Like,
yeah. Like Cisco talked about the long thread. It was just me and Putch. That's probably the thing that's out of like that you don't see on the podcast very much. Me and Putch, we get into it, but like it's not all the time. And then in the thread, it's like
bro, it's literally in our text message thread, it's all Putch and D all the time, every single time. Which is pretty. I mean, not because I don't have time. It's just that you guys are already going at it, and I feel like if I put my 2 cents in, it'll steer the conversation a different way. And I like to watch you guys go at it. But it's fun. It's fun, especially when the Jordan Peterson's stuff started coming out.
yes.
I was like looking forward to what you guys had to say about it in the chat. Oh fuck! I meant to make a tinfoil hat for tonight because you sent that fucking little meme the other day.
I'm just saying is that there's apologies owed, and you guys will soon see that we were right.
You'll soon see.
You'll soon
That was
see.
very Trumpish of you, bro. Say it like that.
Frankly, you'll all see. Frankly, I'm working on it. No, I just think that there's a lot of elements of conspiracy theorists, right? That it's like, bro, until when did that word even get thrown around? And when, you know,
What,
they came,
conspiracy or the theory part?
the term conspiracy theorist was coined during the Warren Commission when they were investigating the JFK assassination.
was it because there was a lot of conspiracy theories around the assassination?
Well, let's even just
I mean, the
look at,
government killed his ass, bro. Like, what are we even questioning?
and let's just look at the word, right? A conspiracy is just a group of people who are in on something, conspiring to perform an act. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the theory is just people saying, well, it could be this, it could be that, right? They just don't have enough evidence,
Sure.
right? So
Just a theory. Again,
if
theory.
so how far does it take a theorist to become an investigator, right? Because back in the day, we just called those people, you know, private investigators. Sherlock Holmes, there was a whole books written about the dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's really, it's fun to watch real life conspiracy theories like boil out in real life.
Yeah,
Like,
but they've gotten kind of ridiculous over time. And it's okay. Why can't we go back to like the times where it was like Bohemian Grove and JFK assassination and shit like that? Like now it's like in the Denver airport. Like now it's just like dumb shit. To me, I feel like there's a lot of dumb conspiracies. I mean, not all of them are dumb, but like the Egypt shit is not dumb to me.
yeah. Now there is like the conspiracies behind it was built by aliens is still like a stretch for me. I would still say that there was some kind of super ancient civilization that came up with that shit. Like advanced as fuck. Like I don't think we really have a real understanding, because that dude Zahi or whatever that I was on the Joe Rogan, bro. He's trying to say that the dudes moved the shit using like wood tools and hammers and like basic functionality of tools, right? Like nothing, no advanced nothing. And I just don't believe that. I can't.
I get you. I know D doesn't really want to talk about the Egypt shit.
I just don't know about it. I just don't know.
But I do want to bring up something. Okay, go ahead. I want to bring up something that's in the text message threads, but go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought.
My thing is this. One is it does correlate with the stars. One, I'm gonna ask you how they know that. None of us fucking know. Okay. Two. You know that there is like a ratio. There's a ratiotic number between the base of, I think it's the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the equator of the Earth. And then there's also something about, like, I can't remember if it's like the base or it's the height of it, also has to do with like the speed of light. And all I'm saying.
Like, bro, the thing is too is that I feel like if you look at something hard enough, it's always gonna correlate. Like the installation of my microwave, like the exact parameters to the fucking Chipotle across the street is exact. No, but hold on, because it could always be
the pyramid thing is different.
No, wait, hold on.
It
could always be attributed to something that we found, something like. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. It could always be attributed to something that we've discovered later. Like the fact that it's not correlating. The fact that it's like numerology. I've heard people, now when I say people, I mean one person. I'm not going to name them. But I've heard one person describe numerology to me and I'm like, this sounds crazy. This doesn't sound like it makes sense at all. Because it's like the birth number, or like the year and date of which you were born times the time you were born minus, and I'm like, bro, at this point you could subtract and add anything, get whatever fuck number you want, and like you'll be chilling. So at some point it's like, does it even matter? We're just like pointing out shit.
But the alignment with the stars is not like.
But also,
there's no way that's by chance.
But also, stars move. The whole sky fucking moves all the time. Bro.
That shit is no.
That's what makes it crazy.
Nearly impossible to line.
I don't think it is nearly impossible. Well, okay, maybe the alignment. I don't know.
That's the only thing that I agree with.
But also,
the equator thing, I have no idea about.
I think Hutch said what was it? The pyramids align perfectly or something symmetrically to the stars. How are we even measuring that? What does that mean?
That's where the conspiracy.
No, but I'm saying because the point, like the very point. Are we talking about the whole thing? Well, like how are we even measuring how the fuck do we measure that? Are we getting lasers?
Somebody stands at the top, and points a little
and just lays on the very
from an ice cream truck, and it just fucking points that shit up.
He's like, nah,
if it hits a star, it's right there. Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty scientific.
See what I'm saying?
As long as he has doctor in the title, it makes sense.
It's math. There's math.
Okay, hold on. Let's go. Let's do this then. The pyramids down in Mexico, right? There is a
there's so many pyramids in Mexico.
There's
Puebla. We talking about Oaxaca.
No,
we talking about where are we talking about? Chichen Itza. Is that what it's called?
I think it's Chichen Itza, where it has the dragon going down the side. Again,
yeah, that's Chichen Itza.
Dragon. Okay.
It probably was a dragon and not a dinosaur.
There's
a difference between the two.
No, yes, there is. There is.
Anywho, there's a time during the summer, I think summer solstice or summer equinox, where when the sun hits it, right?
When Mercury's rising and Venus is not.
I don't know.
I'm just going based on what.
But you'll see a serpent going down the side.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That is different in my opinion, because that's architecture and like the art of it, of like something symbolically when the sun raises, like
Wait, what the fuck?
the structure.
And the pyramids of Giza are not.
Hold on, bro. All I'm saying is that when you're talking about, so from what I understood, you're talking about the actual structure casting a shadow that depicts something as the sun rises or goes down, right?
No, like the temple itself. Like when you're looking at the temple on the side, it's like on the side of it going down the steps, the way that the shadow from the sun itself is getting cast onto it.
Yes, what you were saying is correct.
Okay, yes.
Casting a shadow on the temple. Yes.
I 100% can believe that, because that's literally architecturally like art. There's architects that do shit like that today.
But that it only happens on one day out the year.
Yeah, they had.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with like Stonehenge. Like Stonehenge, if you like.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Stonehenge is
true north, south, east, and west. So like, I just don't see how that is not for that to be coincidental.
That's not.
I think the number is so astronomically small, right? Where the building of that pyramid. Right, like again, see, so that's why a couple weeks, or at least a month and a half now back, I'm like, these men built with conviction. They built these fucking temples for a reason, bro, and why or how they knew it, I don't fucking know. And that's what I'm interested about. Like, I get real interested about. And I don't, and that's why it's weird for it to be like a conspiracy theory behind a lot of these things, because nobody can give me a for sure answer. But everyone just keeps saying
theory, Corp. That's why the theory. That's why it's a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. That's why it's but then what's the answer?
Yeah, but it's still a point of conspiracy, right? Like they may have built this and be like, no one's ever gonna fucking know how or why we did this.
I know. Imagine they just wanted to. Someone just woke up and was like, hey, we're gonna build it just like this, just cause.
It's gonna take us 300 years, but we're gonna do this shit, and they're gonna be like, how?
See, okay, now the dude Zahi or whatever his name was, he kept saying something about like it being the national project, and that I can agree with. I can understand that back in this time, right, from corner of the empire, you get a messenger saying, hey, the pharaoh is calling every young man from this village to come work and build these new temples, right? And you will have work for the next fucking forever. You, your children, and your children's children will have work, because this will be the national project for the next 200 years. For sure. Let's go. For sure. Okay. Fucking bet, like right, I can get that part.
All right, now I want to touch on something. I didn't want to touch on this, but I like some wild hair crawled up my ass or whatever. But you messaged early. I think you messaged us on Saturday or Sunday. Mm-hmm. And you said, Hold on, let me pull up the text. Putch messages. Let me pull up the text message so I don't get it out of context. Hold on 1 second.
Oh fuck! I feel like me and Putch are gonna get into it right now.
Oh, it was Friday. Mm-hmm. So this is the exact text message, and we kind of got into it a little bit, or not. We didn't get into it, but like
we just started, and then we're like, all right.
Yeah, I sent 2 text messages or a couple text messages. D sent a couple text messages, and then we said, let's save it for the podcast. So Corbs sent a text message, and it said, I got a topic that was thrown my way, or that got thrown my way. Is chastity and chivalry dead? Is chastity and chivalry dead? And I thought about it, and I think on Sunday I pulled my phone out. I was looking at the text messages, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to talk about this on the podcast again, because I feel like we've already talked about it. Like, I feel like that we've touched on the subject before. But then now I've seen a couple things on like TikTok and Instagram Reels, and I'm like, okay, maybe we should talk about this again, because yeah, I mean, it kind of is dead, low key. Like, I would say social media is taking it so far gone that like even people that want to be that way are second guessing if they should be that way, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
What's the appeal? My thing is, right, and this was kind of my stance. the only group of people I've heard say anything about it in a negative light has been people in the feminist movement.
See, this is where I would disagree on that, because the only reason I disagree on that, right, is because men are, I would say, there's more men now that are like, well, shit, I just gotta take the bitch to fucking Cheesecake Factory and she gonna let me hit. I mean, it sounds fucking brutal, but like, think about it, right? Like, yeah, I could just take the bitch out on a date and fucking, I took her out on a little date, pulled up in my $800 a month fucking Hellcat, and she was impressed by the car, impressed by the food, like, and now I'm expecting to get some ass type shit. You know what I mean?
I thought the whole cheesecake movement was more about people saying,
Well,
"Hey,
I'm just saying cheesecake. I'm okay. Take them to fucking
doesn't matter. Olive Garden,
Nobu. Take them, yeah, Olive Garden.
Whatever.
It doesn't even, the restaurant portion doesn't even matter. It's just like, okay, I show up in a fly outfit, pick them up in a nice whip, and I took them out, so now I'm deserving of some ass. So like, I would disagree in the aspect of like, it's only coming from the feminist movement, and saying like, because of what we see on social media, men are playing a part too. Like, we expect to hit because we took them out. You know what I mean? I mean, not all of us, obviously, but what I'm saying is, like, men as a collective, it's like, oh, well, I took you out, so yeah, I paid for your shit.
Give me the
I'm gonna get
cheeks.
some ass. Exactly.
No, but I'll disagree with that. But
you disagree with what I'm saying?
Maybe. Actually, don't know. My thought on it is, I think overall, it's hard to get a gauge on things sometimes because of social media. I feel like inherently we all know this, is that social media depicts such a distorted view of like what people, the users that we don't see, of how like people are in normal life. Like, we only see the big OnlyFans girls, or the people doing the rage bait of like, I saw this video the other day, and I hope it's satire of this. It was like Ring camera footage. It could have been staged. Like, I don't doubt them, staging shit like that.
I think I know exactly what you're about
You know what I'm talking about? Where he was like, kind of
like, can I come in?
Yeah, lingering at the door. He's like, hey, I could like make drinks. I'm really good with my hands. And then the girl's
and
like,
then after she was like, no, maybe next time. And then
she closes the door. He's like,
and he was like,
thanks for
taking me out.
But like, that's
thanks for taking me out. Like, I paid for everything, and fucking bitch. Like,
yeah.
But I feel like that paints a bad picture for us too, because not all of us are like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
not only are not all of us like that, but there's obviously two sides to this, of the people saying like, oh, not everybody's like that, and that's true. And then there's like a smaller section of what I would imagine, a smaller section of men who would believe like, oh, if I take her out, if I'm nice to her, if I pay for everything, I'm getting cheeks delivered. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like most guys feel this way, but I do think there are guys who do feel this way. They're just a small section of them.
Yeah, I agree with that statement 100%. I mean, majority of the men that I know in my life are like, not like, that's not the expectation, right? I mean, obviously the expectation is to like woo and court and do all that shit, because I mean, I think we talked about it on the podcast before. Like, we learn from our mothers and our fathers how to treat women and what to do with women and how to woo and court women. But there's that division of men. I would say there's a division of men when it comes to who is consistently doing it. Like, how you woo and court is how you consistently are. And then there's that other side of men who are like wooing and courting women just to get whatever they want from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I think the first side is the chivalrous side. But even with the chivalry movement, like, I don't even want to call it a movement, but even with like the chivalry side, I can understand where Corpse is coming from, because there's been plenty of times when I've been told by women like, "Oh, you're too nice," and I'm like, "Tell my mom that shit, bro."
Wait. First off, this is hold on. Let me just interject real here on this whole thing, because this is how I am. This is where I see it, and this is where I come from, because I know Corpse hates women, but this is where I see it.
He sure does. Should have seen the
Is
green
in
room,
California, there is policy in casinos where male employees are not allowed to hold the door open for women. And to me, for whatever reason, that is a fucking weird policy to stand on. Like, so when we're talking about the death of chivalry, like especially chivalry, right? Like, I don't see any man advocating for that. You know what, us guys, we need to stop holding the doors open for you ladies. We need to stop that shit.
Yeah, but what is the is Kelly in here? Kelly, what's the definition of chivalry?
I was gonna say,
can somebody tell me what the definition of chivalry is? Because I just view that as polite. I'll hold the door open for a man. Like, I don't give a fuck.
A chivalrous man is somebody who would perform an act like that. That's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, some people just say, oh, that's polite. That's this. And well, the thing is too, we also got to remember, like, where did we learn manner etiquette? Back in the day in schools, etiquette was taught in school. How to set a table.
I've never been to a class like that.
No, like seriously, back.
Oh, he's saying like back in 1800s, like
back in the day. That
when
was
you guys were like
thing.
16. Oh shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
That's fucking.
Are you giving out unk
Hey,
jokes now?
That's a good one. That's a fucking. That was a good one.
No, but
like, I have no gray in any of those. All right.
I probably have more gray than you. Nah,
probably stressed out working for the company that you work for.
But that's why I say that is because there is definitely, I'll say, in the great state of California.
All right, let's see. Kelly said courteous behavior, especially that of a man toward woman.
Okay.
Or women.
Gang.
But what I'm saying is, like, I would act. A lot of the things that I would do towards women, I would do towards men. Don't call me homosexual, but the case of the matter is, there is certain things that I do. There is certain things that I do with women that are. I think I just do them subconsciously now. Like, if I'm staying somewhere, I'll make sure that I sleep on the side that's closest to the bed. If we go out to a restaurant or somewhere to eat, I'll make sure that I can see the door. Like, walk on the right side of the street, push a girl like into the inside of the sidewalk. The one thing that I'll say that I fuck up on, and I won't even deny it, is opening a woman's door. But if you're getting into my car, like, I'm gonna open your door for you. But if you're driving, sometimes I just don't open your door. Let's just be real.
Dead chivalry, dead.
Yeah,
Sydney doesn't touch a door around me.
At least
I
man than I am.
I tried not to have Lisa touch your door.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. You make her pump her gas,
bro. I didn't know about this until recently. No, you know what's funny is that all the chivalrous stuff I've learned like at a later date.
Oh, there she goes. She walked right in the door as soon as you said it, bro.
No, I've learned at a later date. Like the whole road thing, I learned from a friend of mine. Damn, years ago.
Road thing?
Yeah, the whole like being on the left side, or sorry, being on the right side. Like oncoming traffic is where you're standing, like more.
Yeah, inside. And then inside of the sidewalk.
She's on the inside, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the gas thing from you guys, the door thing actually kind of started as a little bit of a meme, like a little bit of like, it'd be funny if I opened the door for you. And then I did it like again as like a haha. And then like 3 months later, I'm still doing it. And it's been like years and I'm still doing it. So it was kind of a funny development. But
I mean, I bet you get laid more because of it. I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying, bro. Like, it's not a bad, but that's how it should be. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
And all I've ever, and all I'm saying is the only people who I've heard say.
All right, here. This is what we're about to get. Wait, guys, chat. Listen, we're about to get unhinged right now for a second, okay?
Whoa, Bunches.
I'm just telling you. Bunches about to get unhinged for a second.
Fucking feminist. I'm just saying. The only fucking people. Can you stop? Can you just fucking stop? You don't always have to walk by the street. Can you just fucking stop? I want to walk over here. You don't always have to. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Now, chastity. And even with chastity, there's not.
Let's get to the chastity part in a second. Hold on. But I want to talk about the feminism part because I know a couple feminists that I would say. Let me just say this. Look at Corpse's face. There's nothing wrong with the empowerment of women, right?
Nothing.
There's everything wrong with the empowerment of men. I will say that, right? Mm-hmm. Everything wrong with the empowerment. That's the one thing that I disagree. One of the biggest things that I disagree with feminism is that there's everything wrong with the empowerment of women, or everything's right with the empowerment of women, but everything wrong with the empowerment of men. But I will say this: I have met feminists who will take the lead of a man. Mm-hmm. But there needs to be some empowerment towards that woman, like letting them understand that they are extremely important. Their words are extremely heard. I teeter on the you can do everything that I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Because there's definitely things that we are just built to do things differently. But psychologically, there are feminist women that are okay with being led. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact. So not all I will say this, not all feminist women are like, fuck men.
Probably the majority of them.
No, and again, I don't.
I'd say the majority, bro. You're talking about like
if talked to the right way, maybe understood.
I think a lot of the things we argue and the things that we see tend to be on the extremes of like exactly what Pudge says in terms of like I don't need no man. I don't need no XYZ. No. But I'm just saying in terms of what we talk about as a reaction, right? The things that are super sensible, like, oh, I think, I don't know. I can't even give like a sensible take because they're so fucking forgettable and like nobody gives a fuck because it's like, yeah, dipshit. No, like obviously who's gonna say anything against this? But then when you
that's the thing though, right? Like Corpse, how many feminist women do you know if treated the right way would not walk on the inside of the sidewalk?
Oh, 100. I mean, dude, it's 100% through and through. I think any woman,
like if you do it the right way, like if you just say no word, if you don't be like move on that side of the sidewalk, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, just
my thing is where
you're walking over here,
and especially when I get into this having that position, right, is because I never hear a man complaining that is our like almost like our moral responsibility as a chivalrous man. We feel that is our moral responsibility to behave that way, right? Like we generally don't complain about that, right? And I find it in a conundrum where it's like, ladies, I know you want to feel empowered and strong and capable and all those things, but right, this past weekend we had a birthday party for the mother-in-law, right? And Grandpa was walking out to the car, right? And Papa Chuck is old, champ, right? And I was with the boys, we were puffing. I'm gonna tell this story and it's gonna make sense, right? He's walking to the car. We put everything down, right? The other two walk inside. I walk with Pops to go to the car real quick. That man don't need my fucking help. He don't need my security. He doesn't need anything from me. But I got his back. I'm following him behind him, and I'm just watching. I'm just here, right? Of course, I'm talking to Papa. How boss is it that at a blink of an eye, you have a nice, strong, healthy 32-year-old young man who's clocking the corners and watching your six? How, just like that, boom. Papa didn't even have to ask me. I said, hey, Papa, where you going? Oh, to the car. All right, I'm going to come with you. To me, that's the most powerful
thing
of them all.
That's the thing that I would. So this is the difference, right? Like, we always say alpha male. I mean, I think we talked about it on the.
Well, just on that question, it's actually StreamYard.
Cocksucker Myron.
Putch has
like alpha males don't
like
have
Putch,
to admit that they're
Putch's
alpha males,
account, and we just come in.
Right?
And
that's
how he gets all the text and stuff.
Know when it's time to protect whoever the fuck it is.
Alpha males.
Whether it's male, whether it's female, whether it's whatever the case may be, right? Especially in this day and age.
Giga Chad.
But like people do that because it's embedded in them. Like I genuinely feel like it's embedded, bro. Like even if you have a non-feministic woman, right? Like, or even if you have a woman that's a feminist, right? Like fuck men, fuck this shit, fuck that shit. With the right type of treatment, like they're going to care for you, make you feel safe, secure, loved, warm. You know what I mean? Like, why are you laughing, D?
I know. It was just a funny.
But it's just because that's how it works. It's how it works, right? Like, you do the things that you're supposed to do, I get the things back in return, and vice versa. It's just nature. It's just how it works. But it doesn't have to be said or introduced. You know what I mean? Like, it's just natural. It's just the natural portion of it, right? Like, because I don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to walk on the right side of the sidewalk, or I'm going to protect you from people while you sleep. You just do those things, and they're noticed. When those things are noticed, you get a little bit of something in return. It's not cheeks, right? Like, the people that realize what they're doing or understand the nature of what's happening realize that, like, sex isn't the prize. It's everything else that comes with or within it. You know what I mean? Like the love, the care, the devotion, the allowing to be a leader, the following. It's those types of things, and it's just naturistic. So I have nothing against feminists, because I feel that with the right type of person around, they understand, okay, you could be strong within yourself. You could feel however the fuck you want to feel. But with that, you also understand, like, there is a little bit of leadership. You can, like, women can lead as well. There's nothing wrong with a woman leading. But there's scenarios. And that's the understanding of it, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like, okay, I lead now, you lead next time. It's the scenario which you're in, right? That's just the way I look at it. So that's why I said with the feminism thing, do I think it's killing chivalry and chastity? Yeah, I said yes and no. The chastity thing, I think it is. The feminism is killing it a bit. Yes, bitch, yes. Hot girl summer. This shit, that shit. Like, yeah, do men want women that sleep with less men? Yeah, yes, we do. Like, it's
wait,
hard to say.
So hold on, maybe
like, it's not a bad thing.
So, like, and so this is kind of, because damn, I'm really trying. I don't.
Just saying.
I told myself I was going to be better this year about not joking so much about hating women.
This year we're in June.
I think you said it. I hate women like every podcast.
I'm trying. It's a day by day process. But I'm gonna say this, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's the truth. And
I feel like we're about to get into it.
So
also, sister, I agree with everything for the most part what you just said.
Okay. I do too.
So I'm glad I got somebody on my side right now.
No. I definitely agree, right? And I think
but that was on the chivalry aspect. Now we're moving to the chastity aspect.
Even on the chivalry aspect, right? I agree with you. I don't want to demonize feminists either when I say this. I think I come to this conclusion, right? Because I say, why can we agree that chivalry and chastity is at an all-time low, but
wait, hold on, Corpse, you're killing me. It's chastity, bro. Chastity.
What did I say?
Chastity.
Who the fuck is chastity?
Chastity.
Yeah, who the fuck is chastity? Chastity. No, I don't want somebody to call you on the pod. That's the only reason I'm.
Fuck them. I've said worse. Okay. So,
you have. Absolutely.
Yes, you have.
Okay. I just say that, can we agree that it's at an all-time low? But I would, and can we also agree that there's more conversations about it these days online, right? Can we
about
agree?
Which part? About being...
Both. guys being more chivalrous and girls practicing more types of chastity in its value, right? Like whether
No,
it's through
I would
you
disagree with
don't
that
think
statement 100%. Both, I would say, are the opposite. I would
really.
say there's more men that are being less chivalrous and more women that are following the chastity level
I think that's what he's saying. I think that's what he's saying.
less.
Yes.
Wait. Okay,
No.
that's what
I'm
you
saying
said. But
like
okay.
people being in the thing, right? Like
Less.
it's all time low, but we're
Sure.
having these conversations surrounding it like more and more and more and more and more right now. Right now, I think because I think like the Red Pill podcast kind of hit like their
Okay,
max
that's what I was gonna say. Where the fuck
atmosphere.
are these conversations happening? Because I don't
Red,
see them happening.
the Red Pill
But
podcast and the whatevers and dudes
Whatever
talking
podcast.
about what untraditional men talking about what traditional men should be like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that fucking stupid? But anywho, um, I just find it that more often, even with chivalry, it was I found more contention with women, right? And even in your explanation of like, with the right woman, ba 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 ba, it's like, hey, but I'm not asking to have sex with you. I'm not asking you to open up your legs to me. I'm just telling you, honey, like, can you walk on this side of the street? Like, because it's in my capacity, like, because you even said something about our nature, like in our nature, like it's just in my capacity to be this way. Like, I'm sorry, I am truly sorry. And I know like
What are you
most
apologizing for?
that there is some kind of like how you're saying like with the right person, but it's like, but why does it like I'm not asking to have sex with you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
No, I
so
don't, because it doesn't even have to be a conversation. The way I've never had not one person ever, one woman ever tell me like why am I walking on the inside of the road? But I would say it's how it's delivered. Like you're not gonna just go up to somebody and be like, you need to walk on the inside of the road. Like, I'm a man, I need to walk on the inside of the road.
you've never had a girl question like, oh, you're one of those, like they never say like, oh, you're one of those guys.
Oh, absolutely. But
Mm-hmm.
they still do it because of the delivery. Do you see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, like I'm not gonna say, "Hey, move on the inside of the sidewalk," because I need to walk on the outside of the sidewalk. It's just
My question
a
is,
nudge, or am walking on the outside of the sidewalk. You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't
Like,
think any guy though. I've encountered more girls, right, who said, "Oh, you're that type of guy," instead of encountering guys who looked at me and was like, "Oh, you're that type of dude with your girl," right? Like you're that type of dude. Like, no, most guys were just like, "Yeah, yeah, for sure." Like, that's just what we do, right? That's why to me, this is more falling over there, right? Now, I will agree, right? Especially with the whole idea to bring it to like this whole thing of chastity, right? There is an issue with dudes, right? Like of trying to fuck, hookup culture, playboy life, passport bros and Eskimo bros, right? Of
I don't
course.
know about Eskimo bros, but
Of,
Passport bros.
but of course, like guys, of course, that's what they're gonna do, right? That's why good dads
Mm.
teach their daughters, hey,
Wait.
steer away from
Yo.
hold on.
Wait. Rewind for a second. You might want to rephrase what the fuck you just said.
What did I say?
That's what guys are gonna do.
That's what some guys are gonna do. Yeah, that's what some guys
Okay.
are gonna do.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm better with that statement than the statement that you just said.
Oh, sorry.
Because you were like, that's just what guys are gonna do. Like, we're
that's
just
just
gonna
what
go out
some
and just fuck bitches and go to different countries and just look and put our dick in whatever the fuck we can put in. That's what it sounded like.
That was the vibe.
Do you agree?
That was the vibe.
Hey,
Okay,
you know
that
what?
was the vibe. Like, that's just what guys are gonna do.
That is what there is a portion of young men, yes, that is what they are going to do. And I think it's not only, I think a mother's job is also to teach the preservation of the body to a young lady, but I see a lot of that falls on dads, right? Rightfully so, and I don't want to knock that. Um,
Wait. Hold on. I want to pause you right there. Because why do you feel like that's the duty of the mother?
No. There is a certain responsibility. Like when I really think of like, okay, what does a daughter learn? Boom, boom, boom from a mom, boom, boom, boom from a dad, and where are they overlapping, right? And I can't help but think that a way that girls view their bodies, right? And call me fucking crazy. I don't know. Like in the way that they preserve themselves, a lot of it is dependent on the dads, right? Like
Oh, but you just said mother. You just said that it's the
no,
mother's duty to
no,
do
there
that.
is, even though they do hold a certain responsibility, right? Like there's a certain level there, like a certain portion. I think still the other, right? If it's a 49-51 split, it's the dads. You get what I'm saying? To me, I think it's more of like an 80-20 when we're really gonna boil it out, in my personal opinion.
You think
It's
dads are 80 and moms are 20 when it comes to a woman's body?
to them of chastity. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. In the practice of abstinence, the way that they look at themselves and the way that they will entail with their partners. Yeah. I think a
Mm.
lot of it falls on the pops. A lot, and I think there's a certain extent of it which is vice versa with mothers to the sons. Um and I know a lot of like psychiatrists and shit, they get, especially with boys, they try to blame everything on the mom. It's always the mom this, mom that. I don't always believe that. It's always a mix, but I think there's just, even if it was a 51-49 split, I can kind of see how they get there, you know. So I think this whole thing with the whole thing of like, you know, I think the body positivity movement and this like sex acceptance movement and shit, like I think a lot of it is just kind of, again, what some young men are going to do. They want that from girls. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting, and it's when you say it word for word, but
I don't
it
think
is.
it's disgusting. I don't think it's disgusting. I think it's human nature.
Yeah, it's just gross stuff.
Hold on. I want to retract on, like, go back to what you were saying about the mother and father thing, because it goes back to something that we talked about, like, on episode like 5 or some
Did that
shit.
make any sense? What
No, no, no.
I say right now make any sense?
A little bit, a little bit in what you were trying to explain, but it goes back to like the nurture and nature conversation that we
A little
had
bit. Yeah.
way back in the day, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. I agree. That's why a lot of men are mama's boys, and then they depict a lot of women that are promiscuous to be to have daddy issues, right? Like I agree with that, because we learn our softness from our mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I learn my chivalry from? Not from my dad. I'll tell you that much. My dad is probably still in the streets doing his thing. You know what I mean? But you know, and we want to be like dad, right? We want to be like dad because that's the strongest upbringing that we had. We the strongest male form that we've had. But at the same time, we learn our softness from our mothers, and we, like, as men, we learn chivalry from our mothers. And I would also agree with the aspect of like women learn the um, chastity portion and the respect of their body from their fathers. But why do you think that is? You know what I mean? Like, because they're learning from a man who knows what men want.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're all men. We want to fuck. Like, that's not a secret. It's not a secret. But I think what a lot of what's missing behind the like we're men and we want to fuck thing is that the naturistic value of the way that our brains work, or the way that most men's brains work, is that we want to fuck the best option. No, hold on, that's horrible what I just said. Not the best option, the best mate. We want to fuck the best mate, right? Like, so there comes a lot of That's gonna be clipped and it's gonna fucking kill me.
You are not making yourself sound good right now, but I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Option. I want to make that very clear. I didn't mean to say the best option. I was just in my head trying to think about the next thing I was gonna say.
My auto clippers got it. Auto clippers, work on that. Get that going.
Hey, yo.
Psychologically, the way that we work, right? Who makes us feel the best?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the most caring? Who is the most understanding? Those are the types of things that happen to us psychologically. Yes, we're engaged with people physically sometimes, but I would say there is a lot of men that are like look at those other things as well, right? Like, do you make me feel good? Do you look good? Are you understanding? Will our kids be this way as well? Yes. 3 out of 4 are checked. Okay, let's make it happen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Will just messaged me.
Yeah, Will's watching right now. He asked me what's going on.
He said, "Can I come on the show?" Will, can we set up a time for Will to come on the show next week?
That'll be fire.
Sure.
Well, you got an hour spot on the 2-hour show for next week.
There you go. Lock it in, Will.
We do it on Tuesdays usually. Will says fire.
I don't like. I would like to assume, and some of this is going to sound crazy, so pause. I'm raising daughters, and I would want to assume that I tell them that they're so pretty, and that I love them so much, and they're so beautiful.
Why is okay? Go ahead, keep going.
That no other little boy could ever tell them otherwise. And that when other little boys tell them, they don't believe them. I want my daughters to have the most healthiest daddy issues known to man. I want them to receive gifts from little boys, pass it back to them, and say, "Don't worry about it. My dad got that." I want them to bring boys. If they were to bring a boy to my home, I would want to be able to shake his hand, look him in the eye, and he do the exact same back to me, because then I will know she picked one just like dad. And he listened to some country music, and he fucking, you know what I'm saying? Let's do a little country music, bro. Maybe he likes wrestling a little bit. Maybe he plays
country music.
I don't know, right? Like, maybe he's a good old
Fuck
boy.
you, Damien. I like country
good old
music.
Boy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, thank you.
Good old boy is kind of a crazy. But hold on. But okay, so actually, I'm gonna let D speak a little bit. I feel like we've been talking a lot. Go ahead.
I've been sitting back and writing
digesting
down all of my objections. So now I'm gonna let them all out right now. Just kidding. I think a lot of the times with girls, at least from this conversation that maybe not a lot of the times, just with this conversation that I've heard currently, for whatever reason, we're saying, or at least Putcha said, that you want to give her this idea of almost like, what's the word? It's like self-positive reflection based off of self-worth based off of what you're saying. And I feel like a lot of the times when we talk about boys, we want to get them ready for the world and self-sufficient. In the case of women, for my understanding, it seems like there have been a lot of social norms that have been justified for men of like, oh, that's just what boys do. Boys will be boys, whatever, on some possibly questionable actions, and to kind of pass it off. And society deems it as okay. The feminist movement seems to try to deconstruct that a little bit and give some power or some capabilities to women on some of those, verticals, like sexual, like being okay with their sexuality if they're, more sexually active than other women who aren't, and making that voiced as like, nothing's wrong with you. You want to have sex. Everybody wants to fuck. Fucking feels good. fucking awesome. And so the fact that you want to have sex, there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't be like, not degraded, but you shouldn't be
demonized,
chastised or demonized by society because you do want to have sex. And I think that's a perfectly fine statement. But I think with that, the conversation, and I'll get to the red pill here in a second, I think that's perfectly fine. Because I think the question that arises if you're saying that women having this this messaging is wrong or it's not good, I would say, like, why? And the reason I would say maybe it's not good is because you have to have the other side of that conversation of not only should you be sexually positive, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to have sex, but on the flip side, you have to be extremely comfortable with getting in awkward situations, because being sexual with somebody can get very in the weeds, entangled very quickly, and you can get into a position where you don't want to be in there in that situation, and you need to know how to get the fuck out of there, or say no, or be okay with getting somebody angry and knowing how to get out of that situation. Because without that side, being sexually positive can be very dangerous about, you know, people who might be more sexually active and who are women, because we all have women in our lives, and a lot of them have a lot of stories where things didn't go the way that they wanted it to. Unfortunately, it's just sad. It's a real thing. But having those conversations, and having the both sides of, it's okay to have sex, it's okay to be active, and it's perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with you, but also know how and when to get out of situations before anything happens. And of course, it still will, but hopefully a lot less.
That's such a slippery slope. That's such a slippery slope, bro.
That's where
the example that you gave is a slippery slope.
Yes. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
The example that you gave is a very slippery slope.
Because, okay, this is my thing. Yes, I understand boys will be boys, but I think where people got me fucked up, and where I think, because I've said this for forever, I remember one of my sisters was like, why is it when a girl has a lot of sex, she's a bitch and a hoe, but when dudes have a lot of sex, they're a pimp? I was like, I don't believe that. They're hoes too. Like, you could call them a pimp, but they're still a hoe. Like, call it what you want. They're a hoe. Like,
why is that degraded? Like, why is that a bad thing? To have a lot of sex.
Why is it a bad thing? Now this is my thing.
Hold on. Time out. To answer your question real quick, D, it's the simplicity of it, right? Like, this has been a thing since I was a child. If a woman has sex, or if a girl has sex with a lot of dudes, she's a hoe. If a guy has sex with a lot of girls, he's a pimp. Why? Because it's harder for dudes to have sex with girls than it is for girls to have sex with guys. That's just a simple. That's all answer.
True, but
that's a simple. I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm just saying, since I was a child, that's what the answer.
But that's also the question's still right, because although that's true, it doesn't answer why it's bad.
Because there is a.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's the answer.
One, because there's a value in discipline. There's a value in discipline. There's a value. There is an innate value in somebody who is disciplined over their sexual desires. Two, there is a value in the discipline that, one, if you perform an act, right? Like, D, like you say, know when to get out of a situation. Boo, you might be in the situation before you know the situation is happening.
But that's what the conversations would be conducting. Not only how do I get the fuck out of this room, what self-defense. I'm talking about before getting in the room, before getting in the car, and I'm not saying that it's always something that you could see clearly, right? There's going to be situations, that's why I said it's going to happen, but ideally these conversations help people in a better way to make them feel more comfortable doing the uncomfortable shit, you know?
But that's why, okay, so this is why I say that this is a slippery slope. And I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't mean to seem like a fucking pig or anything, right? But how many... I want to be so careful in the way that I fucking say this.
Say it.
How many times, as a guy, have you been in a situation, and maybe not you, D, right? Like, you're new school, compared to Corpse and I, where we're a little old school, right? And this may like relate to more of the old school viewers or listeners. But how many times have you been in a situation where you go in to lean and give a girl a kiss? She's like, no, I can't do this. But then you're still getting body language. I want to be so careful in how I say this. But then you wind up getting a kiss after, right? And we never know if was the kiss forced or was it like, I shouldn't do this, but I really want to do this, so I'm gonna give you a kiss back. Right?
Sure.
So is that you being too pressed? Like, are you pressing too much in the case of like I'm reading body language incorrectly and you like everything went right, so I'm gonna give you a kiss?
Yeah.
Or is it she said no, like I gotta be extremely respectful, back off, and now she's like, oh well, he's like he didn't even give me a kiss. Like I wanted a kiss that night, and he didn't even pursue the kiss.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And then what does that do to you psychologically when she's like, oh well, you weren't even man enough to try and continue to try and give me a kiss.
Oh, man enough.
Do you kind of see where I'm like why that could be a
Kinda.
slippery
Well,
slope in the sense?
So that's what I'm saying is that like being sexual. So I had mentioned that too. Being sexual with somebody, you get in the weeds and you might get tangled in something that you don't.
But I wasn't even talking about sex. I'm not talking about
sex. I'm talking anything. I'm talking everything. It can get in the weeds because you're both like beginner reading Braille, and you're kind of trying to figure out where things are going and who's saying what with body language a lot of the times. And you can misread shit, and people can be a little bit more friendly or touchy, and you could be like, oh shit, she's feeling the fuck out of me. And she's like,
yeah, that's just the homie.
80-20. Yeah. Yeah, it's just
but there's still that 20. There's still that 20.
Sure, and there is that 20, but I'm saying having the conversations of like in those situations where you might be giving off something and you get the vibe that, you know, the person you're on the date with or the person you're talking to is feeling you in a way that's a lot more than you are feeling them. Having those conversations of, okay, how do you go about it to like cut it off in a more stern way than just like, oh, I don't know about it.
Well, I think that's
giving that confidence of like,
that's the other half of the conversation that we're not having, right? Is the communication aspect of the whole thing. But I wanted to touch back on something that you said earlier as well. He is, bro, because this man is so traditional, old school. It's not even funny.
The vein out of his head.
But hold on, I want to touch back on something that you said earlier about like teaching women that it's okay, like you are sexual, like you do want to have sex, and that's okay. The issue that has succumbed us is asking body counts, wanting to know how many men you've been with prior to me. And that's why, I've said it in other podcasts, like, or other episodes. I would never ask that.
That's a purely online thing.
No.
I've never heard anybody say this. I've never heard anybody ask this.
There is a certain...
You've never...
I don't think I ever have.
I have. It's happened recently. It's happened. Like I can't make this. I could probably pull up a text message that says, how many people have you been with?
Wait, were you pursuing them in a romantic way?
Absolutely.
Do I remember this?
No.
Oh,
so I guess
okay. Okay, then because you said you have never, and I'm like, no.
But it does happen. It does happen.
Sure. So I'm not saying it never happens. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. You're right.
It's a conscious thing that people think about. I want to know how much experience you have as opposed to how much experience I have.
Can I go to I need to go to the bathroom so bad. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I want to hear what everybody said. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Let's check in with our senior correspondent, Jake Zybel. What's this podcast, LMAO? This is the Usual Tuesday podcast hosted by yours truly, joined by the dynamic duo of Save One and 0%. We are the Three Musketeers. The Usual Tuesday podcast.
What is this podcast? Is crazy.
I like how I do kind of like how it sits right there in the side of the screen. It's not too I thought it was gonna be like distracting.
That was gonna be right in the middle over Zero's face.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I didn't want to talk about. I genuinely didn't want to talk about this during this episode, but it's actually led to a very good conversation.
I think I just think there's a misconception with I care less about this whole thing on like a traditional or even like trying to be old school idea, right? I've really kind of gotten into this thing of like what is the truth of the situation, right? And if I don't like what's my biggest fears for my daughters out there in the streets? You know what I mean? And I know we can all assume what they are, and that is you're right, actually. Like, like you're right. So how do I best protect her? Right. And I get where everybody says, well, teach them about safe practices and safe encounters and consent, blah 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 blah. Cool. And then they teach abstinence and chastity and all. I'm just the opposite. I want to hammer home chastity and abstinence of sex. I want to teach them to preserve themselves, preserve their bodies, keep themselves safe. Then I will begin to teach them like, hey, but if there is somebody that you think is lucky enough, let me teach you about this, that, and your mom can teach you about this, and that. Let me show you that if a little boy is trying to tell you X, Y, and Z, and he's handing you something that looks like X, Y, and Z, baby, you don't have to. No. Like, no is no. And if you're going to pick a safe word, don't pick no. Like, just, baby, there's things. Like,
no is no, but if you pick a safe word, don't make it no.
Don't make it no, because that's not a safe word. That's kind of not how they, I don't know. I don't make the rules, okay? And I do find an issue in sexual deviancy, and that's where I won't agree with you guys, even though I see your point. It is okay. Boys are boys. They're going to be sexual. They want to hump.
Yeah, but how recent? Okay, but here's the thing, Corpse, that we have to be real about this, right? We're in our 30s. We're in our 30s. We have kids now, right?
Yes.
Now this is when you're starting to think about sexual deviancy and abstinence and things of that nature. You weren't thinking about that shit 10 years. You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, you weren't like, oh yeah, like,
practice abstinence.
I gotta pick and choose who I'm fucking. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to offend you or like call you out on anything, because obviously I was probably the same way. You know, like in our early 20s, late 20s, we're like, yeah, I just want to fuck, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but when I'm talking about like a young, like pre-graduation of high school, bro, I was not interested.
Yeah, but how many guys do you know in high school? One, that were fucking already, right? One, that were fucking already. Two, that would do anything and say anything to fuck.
I literally drove my cousin around in his car while he had sex in the back seat. I took to a girl's house so he could have sex with her the same night my cousin was having sex in the backseat.
My point exactly.
But I was not like, and that was, so all I'm saying is God forbid that I want my children to do better than I do. And heaven forbid that, yes, we have these impulses, these urges, right? And yes, it's what happens, and it feels good, and it's great. But if I could go back and discipline myself even more than what I did, I would. And every other person, right, like given the outcomes, I think would make a similar decision. I think if anybody can rewind time, they would correct a lot of wrongs that they've made in their lives. Right now, I'm not to say like my children are wrongs, or the people who I have had sex with, that it's all wrong, or it's not to say that, but there is a lot of sketchy situations, a lot of bad situations that a lot of people have gotten into, not only myself, but have got into similar to mine and worse. And it's like, yo, fam, if in my power to prevent it for my children, I'll do whatever, you know. And that's just
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just kind of, for me, that's just kind of how it falls. Like, it's got nothing to do with like, oh, he's a traditional man or blah blah blah. It's like, no, I'm just trying to look out for my kids the best way I know how, and I would rather give them the most sure way to be safe and then explain to them all the other avenues versus all the other avenues and then reserving the most 100% way for last.
Yeah. The thing that I feel like because I kind of popped in the middle of that when at the beginning. The first thing that comes to mind, and it kind of speaks to what Save was saying, is regardless of the teachings to some degree, one, kids aren't really gonna like hold it because they need to. Some kids need to experience things, and then it's like when they get hit by the ruler, it's like, oh shit, that was crazy. I'm not doing that shit ever again because I got real scared. And then other times there's a level, I think, of limitation, or maybe like the parenting style induces some sort of like, oh shit, I'm a little scared of that because of what dad said or what mom said, so I don't know if I'm going to do it. But then it's just repressed like feeling and not full understanding of what that feeling is that could lead to more dangerous situations where I thought I was ready for something and I wasn't because I didn't explore it properly. But Save, your mic is off, I think. There you go.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, what do we say as fathers, right? Our kids have to fall on their asses in order to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They're only gonna take so much of what we say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and then I'm sure when they're kids, it's like
don't fuck, STD, pregnant, STD, pregnant.
But then
like,
also you're
then they're
young.
gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
everybody else is fucking. Like, why don't I fuck a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, and then it feels good. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, and then also
You know what I mean?
it's like you have like invincibility frames when you're young. You're like, yeah, that shit happens to other people. That shit's not happening to me, bro. That shit is not happening to me, bro.
If she's only fucked 2 dudes and he's only fucked 1 girl, like, there's no way I'm gonna get STD. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's just a lot that comes around it, but I think we're losing focus on what we were talking about and what the aspect of this conversation was.
Wrap us back in, Cisco. Bring it back in.
The chastity portion and why social media is destroying that. And in Corpse's words, right, feminism is destroying chastity. And the way I look at it is, one, I don't ever ask body counts ever. Like, I'm not a fan of that because I don't want to know.
I'm curious, how many people percentage wise do you think asked stuff like that?
I think a lot of people ask.
Like if you had to give throw out a number, like just vibes. I'm not gonna look shit up right now, but
vibe. Can I get an age range?
Give me a vibes from
16 to 25.
16, like 16. This is what I'm saying. You're 16. You're dipping into like kind of online people, very very online people, I'd say.
Well, I think that's what we're talking about. It's like I literally said the internet, and Corpse would say feminism. But I think that we're getting a lot of our feminism, like a lot of the feminism is coming from the internet.
When you're getting into like a realm of online, I just mean more niche voices that might have a decently big audience. It might even be like millions of people.
But I don't even think it's niche though, D, because think about it. How many people use the internet in the world? Even in the country.
That's fine. But
in the country.
But even in the country, look, there's 300 million people in the country. If you take off kids, there's
3 million people in the country?
300 million? 300. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
300 million.
I was about to say, there's 1 million in San Diego.
If you take off half of that, it's like, you're talking about like 150 million people, just about.
Okay.
The people
Say
of
150
that
million, right?
who are
Okay.
online.
Of 150 million
Mm-hmm.
who are online.
Who are online.
You still have influence.
Sure. Yeah, you still have
So
influence.
out of the half, how many of that half do I think?
So if 150 million people are 100% out of that number, how much would
I'm
you
gonna
say
say
percentage?
I'm gonna say 55 to 60%.
Whoa, that's crazy. That's a lot. That would
Because
mean
we're talking about internet users though, right?
we're talking about
You're saying
of the
100. You're saying 150 million. 100% of those are internet users.
I was saying
say
out
that
of
number.
those 150 million people, how many of them would you say ask for body count?
Correct. And I'm asking you. You said there's 300 million people, and then we're pushing that in
Chopping
half,
yeah.
because of the internet usage. So
Mm-hmm.
we're the 150. There's 100% internet usage.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Yeah, 55 to 60%.
I would say that number is even higher for people who do not have kids.
That's crazy.
155. I mean, 55 to 60%.
I'd say maybe
100%.
out of 150 million people, it's going based off vibes. It's like 5% would be like generous.
No shot.
No way.
There's no shot.
I think so.
There's no shot.
I think
Bro,
because
I've been asked my body count when people.
But I will say this. I will say this, just to make it a little bit better for the podcast, and this is honest coming from me. I will say that I would also say a majority of those people asking are men. I will say that.
Wait, Kelly says almost every single person on dating apps are going to ask. What?
Insane for sliding into someone's DMs on socials.
But also, sorry, hold on, because we're counting also but we're also accounting for like a smaller subset of people who are on dating apps, who would do dating apps. Like, yes, these people might be more prone to asking those questions. I don't even doubt that. And I wouldn't even
every single person.
I probably wouldn't even dispute that claim. I probably wouldn't even have a problem with that claim. But that still
55 to 60%.
But that still does bro.
D. Think about it. How long has it been since you've been in the dating pool?
You're talking about every third person you meet would ask you what your
eventually, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Every third, that's insane to me.
Absolutely.
D, listen to me. How long have you been with your old lady?
I've been with her for 6 years. God bless.
And before that, how long were I know this is kind of a touchy subject, but how long were you with the girl before that?
4 years.
Okay,
4 or 5
the
years,
the girl before your old lady was from what age to what age?
Oh, how old?
Okay,
were we? Well, how
that.
were we in middle school?
Your current,
I forgot.
Okay, your current girl, you've been with her from what age to what age?
I think since like 19, something like that.
19 to, for the viewers at home,
I'm 25. 26 currently.
19 to 26. So how much information do you have? You've dated one girl in your whole 20s.
I just said these numbers are vibes. These numbers are not solidified.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Hey,
you didn't even make it. I gave from 16 to 25. You didn't even make it to the third girl to see if she would ask you for your body count.
Hey,
did your old lady ask you about your body count?
No.
Hey, show us your dick, dude.
Did you ask her about your body count?
Oh, actually, hold on, because this is going back quite a bit. But we met on a dating app. I matched with people on dating apps. I talked to people on the dating app when we were on the dating app. And none of them asked for my body count. Now,
but
like I said,
we're going with any of them.
We're going back.
They assumed you were a whore.
You didn't have sex with any of them.
I'm not saying
matter.
You have to have sex with them to. What the fuck is the point of the body count question? If you're just
gonna
fuck them before.
You gotta get to the point where you're probably gonna fuck.
That makes no sense, bro. You get clapped and you're like, he did real well. Let me ask what his body count was. What the fuck does it matter at that point? You are number 67 now.
You didn't get to the third is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
look, Kelly just said it right now. You don't want to. You probably don't want to answer this online.
Was
so
there sexual interest? On that, we will
You
get it.
just put him in a weird.
I mean, we no, we.
Look at him. He's starting to.
Frankly, that's the best question I've heard all night. Frankly.
Was there sexual attention? A lot of sexual interest.
Oh my god.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have a lot to base what you're saying off of.
But I'm going based
see what
on
I'm saying?
vibes, bro. I didn't say any of this was even experience based. Like, I'm not saying out of all of the girls.
What are you getting your vibes off of, D? Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
The internet, normal people that I talk to.
Internet.
Hey, hold on.
Didn't they just get on Lotto? Didn't they just get on Lotto about fucking talking about in her songs that she's only been with like 3 people or some shit like that? If you're on the internet, you know about that.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know nothing about that.
See?
I don't know nothing about that.
They're giving her shit because.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate you. High key.
You don't even know what he's saying you're right about.
I don't know. He said I'm right.
Based. All that matters, right?
Based.
I wouldn't say it's.
I'm just saying. We, especially being online, we're accounting for so much shit that like so many people. Yes, there's a lot of people. There's a fuck ton of users online and a lot of people in the world online, but they're niches. And even if like I love technology, I watch the biggest YouTuber of technology, Marquez Brownlee. At least I think he's literally the biggest. But what did you just say? Oh, I thought it got quiet, or I thought it like cut out. No, I can't hear you. Now you cut out actually for real. But I'll say, did you cut out? I'll keep going. I'll keep the show running. Save. Don't worry about it. I was gonna say. So I love technology. I watch probably one of the biggest technology YouTubers in the world. There's a lot of people on this fucking platform. He has 20 million subscribers. Every video he makes gets millions and millions of views. But if I were to say like, oh, fuck, most people know about technology to the level that I do or the level that he does because we all watch him. That's like a kind of a vibes thing that I would be wrong on because I talk to so many fucking people. And it's the meme of like when you go to your parents' house and you turn on and off the Wi-Fi and they're like, oh my God, my son's a fucking engineer. It's like, no, bro, I just know more or less what to do. And this guy has millions of followers and views and the niche shit that we watch where it's like the gender conversation, red pill arc type shit is so much smaller than the tech shit that I watch that it has to be like, bro, like almost nobody is actually asking this shit.
Hey, Jake, with a fine point. If you're asking someone's body count, you're asking a question that can go drastically wrong. You're right.
That's not saying that people don't ask it, though.
I'm just saying, if she says, I've never done this before.
Well, I think he
ties
is.
her hair up and goes,
I think LTT, unless you're talking about all of his channels, I might be wrong.
What the fuck?
LTT has a lot of channels.
Do this,
how dare you do this to me? Dude, she give you the pepper twist fucking... That's... Bruh. Come on. Hi, baby. Hold on, guys.
Oh, hi.
This motherfucker over here talking about the pepper twist and the baby walks in is crazy.
Pepper twist. No, pepper twist.
That's fucking crazy talk right there. No, but I disagree with what you're saying.
Damn.
If 150 million people are all internet users.
Me and Jake know. Come on, bro.
Who the fuck is Jake?
You really gonna argue with Jake, bro?
Yeah, fuck Jake.
Man.
Nah. I appreciate Jake for being here. But
you,
no, seriously. You're saying 5% out of 150 million online internet users is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Because, okay, just based off vibes.
Let's see. Hold on. I didn't even read the whole comment yet, but let me see what Kelly said. She said, I truly don't think asking body count is a big deal question. It helps people determine if, in their view, a person is an acceptable partner. It is more of a judgment question, and I think it is totally valid. But why does body count matter if they're an acceptable partner? Why does body count matter if you're an acceptable partner or not?
Discipline.
I don't think it matters at all. I'd be with a girl that had 25 bodies.
Are you going to ask her to get an STD check?
I mean, that would be probably.
Wouldn't it be smart to like probably ask everybody in that case if that's the metric?
I mean, some guys.
If a girl's like 1, but she has fucking, I was gonna say some wild shit. If she got like gonorrhea, like yeah,
what were you gonna say? AIDS?
Yeah, I was gonna like she has AIDS. Like yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah,
crazy.
you can fuck one person and have AIDS. Like,
yeah, there's so many.
Why does it matter? Body count
of a girl saving herself for marriage and the husband gives her fucking herpes. It's like fuck, bro, that sucks. You waited your whole life to get herpes.
At that point, body count doesn't matter.
The thing, see, like that's why to me, because eventually, let's just say if we could just read each other's minds.
You stalling a little bit, Corpse.
Huh?
You stalling a little bit after that one.
Body
count doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter to the people that it doesn't matter to, right? But
it shouldn't matter to anybody. Because if you don't ask, you don't know, and it doesn't matter.
Will says, "Hold on, I want to read this because this is my. I don't know if you guys can. You guys can't see my chat, right?" Mm-hmm. Will says, "Body count matters because their present and future self does not exist in a vacuum. We're the sum of all of our prior actions, and a large body count indicates questionable history."
It doesn't. Because how?
It
let me put it.
Indicate questionable history and not necessarily speak of the character. I would say.
Yeah, because think about it. I'll put this in a way that Corpse would absolutely understand it. You could be 50 years old and be saved by God.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a high body count, what the fuck does it matter if it changed if the 50th person that you were with changed your character? What the fuck does it matter, bro?
No. The thing I don't see in that, the thing that I don't get in that example is I could be saved by God after my 50th body or whatever the fuck. That still does not mean that somebody has to accept me as their partner because they do not trust my sexual prolificness, right? My promiscuous.
What if you change? What if you change? What if that made you change?
Hey, buddy. Hey, all I can tell you is that they're going to look at the resume. Like, and it's not fair, and anyone can, and I could make that same case, right? Like, I could be like, yo, I'm a saved man, all these things, right? Like, I'm in the hands of God now, blah 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 blah. But that does not mean anybody has to accept my past, right?
Sure.
That's just
why is that a path to acceptance though? Like,
no. I can see, I completely understand the notion that your past does not solidify your future. I get that part. But if I'm dealing with somebody with money and all they've ever proven to me is that they know how to spend money, am I going to want to save money with them? If I invest into a car with somebody who gets nothing but DUIs and crashes them, am I going to hand them the keys to a car, right? All these different things. Now, they don't even have to crash. Right? Let's just take DUI driving. Are you always going to get behind the wheel of somebody who's getting smashed drunk? Right? Because
that's different though. Your life is in danger at that point. You're not endangering your life with somebody with a high body count. I don't understand
No, but those people are endangering their lives in many ways, as we know, in sex and hookup culture.
How are they endangering their lives, Corpse?
We were just talking about that earlier. It is dangerous for young women out there. Can we not agree to that? That it's not dangerous.
But now you're gendering it though. Now it's a point of
even
gender.
for young,
now you're just saying women.
Young men, even for young men.
How is it dangerous? What's the danger?
Bro, going out there and in the hookup culture and doing that stuff, bro, that is dangerous for a young man. Right? What, like,
I'm asking you how.
Let's not even talk STDs.
Yeah, besides STDs, let's put STDs to the side.
What else comes along? What else comes along in the hookup culture?
You tell me. If I'm wrapping it up and I'm not getting STDs.
Well, no, hold on, no, wait. You got one of them.
A kid?
I got a couple of them.
How's that dangerous? How's a child dangerous though?
That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous for a young man in a hookup culture, my friend. That can be dangerous. That is dangerous. There is women.
But Corpse, you literally just said earlier, if you're teaching your children to be safe with sex, right? So if I have safe sex, I'm using a condom every single time. I don't have to worry about children.
No.
I don't have to worry
I'm
about
not
STDs.
teaching them that. See, that's where we're confused, and this is where
No. You said abstinence first and then safety second.
See, that's where I put a stopper in the whole.
But what I'm saying is, you're still teaching safety. You're teaching safety for a reason. You're still teaching safety for a reason. So if I'm wrapping it up, I'm not getting any STDs and I'm not getting anybody pregnant. No, because you be consistent. Be consistent in what you're saying. You're not being consistent.
No.
Not being consistent. Not being consistent.
No.
Logically inconsistent. Cringe.
Save. No. Because what I'm teaching and what I'm really trying to get at is body counts matter, right? Yes, they do matter. Somebody's going to look at it and they're going to judge you if you sit there and tell them that. That's why
dangerous because you're judging me. That's dangerous.
No. Who you're out there having sex with, it's dangerous, fam. It's dangerous on multiple
But you're being
levels.
inconsistent in what you're saying. You're teaching your kids first abstinence. Yes, you are. Listen to what I'm saying.
Abstinence.
You're teaching your kids first abstinence.
You want to know why? You want to know why abstinence first? Hold on. No, because I'm about to put a stopper in that the whole thing. You want to know why abstinence first? Because then you don't have to lie about a body count. Then when somebody asks you a body count, it's not offensive or debatable. It's not why are you asking? That's why abstinence.
You're missing the whole point, though. You said it's
dangerous. That is my point.
You're saying that it's dangerous, though, Corpse.
So
I'm trying to find I'm trying to understand why you're saying it's dangerous. If you're teaching your kids abstinence, if you're saying that you're teaching your kids abstinence first, and then saying that you're teaching them safety second. Right? You're not worrying about STDs because you're teaching safety. And you're not worried about pregnancy because you're teaching safety. Where does the danger come from? Where is the danger? What is dangerous?
Because in the real world, like we like to talk about, no matter how much you teach your child about wearing a condom, no matter how much you try to teach your kid about safe sex or right partners, right? There's like this was a point that was made earlier that I just don't agree with this in this type of scenario where it's like, oh well, they're going to learn. Like, whoa, fam, like we're telling young people. And
I'm saying that I was saying that is typically how we teach our kids. They have to fall on their ass in order to learn. I didn't say that's how they learn everything. I'm saying typically that's how we teach our kids. I'm not saying that that's how they're going to learn everything.
Okay, so even then, no matter how much we teach them, these actions aren't happening. Like we talked about a vacuum, like these actions aren't happening in a vacuum, bro. Like these encounters, whether they're with young men or young women, whether they are heterosexual or homosexual acts, transgender acts, it doesn't matter. There is a fucking fat gap of risk, bro. Whether you're talking about unwanted pregnancies, whether you're talking about sexual transmission.
I just eliminated that. I eliminated both of those things because of safety, what you're teaching your kids.
But those things aren't 100% foolproof. My daughter was born.
98%.
My daughter's a child control, my birth control baby.
But we're not talking about birth control. We're talking about. I said okay. I'm talking about condoms. 98%, right? So,
but that's still safe sex.
Well, you're talking about the 2%. No. Condoms are the only thing that are 98% STD proof and 98% pregnancy proof.
Okay,
that's
so
what I'm talking about.
Pregnancy, but mine still fell through a pregnancy. So I think there's there's more examples of that even just in my own family. So I'm
asking, Corpse, is what are the dangers? You're saying that it's dangerous.
All of that is dangerous. All of that is dangerous.
But I just eliminated the dangers that you're talking about. So give me more danger. What more danger can come of it? I'll give you one. Do you want me to give it to you? Psychologically, it could be damaging. I'll give you that. It is psychologically dangerous.
But you just can't just say, oh, we teach them about safe sex, so now that's not a danger that they face out there in the world. No, that's still a danger. That's still a danger that they face out there in the world. That is like a red herring to the whole argument, bro. You can't just say, oh, well, we talking about it now
because we're eliminating the danger of that by 98%. What else could if you say I'm gonna go?
But I'm
going to go to school
when the same things, like the people literally in this conversation, some of the people in this conversation right now have met that statistic. You get what I'm saying? That's where
my child
to the argument.
I didn't use protection when Peanut was born. I didn't. Okay. I knew the risk. It wasn't dangerous. I knew what was happening.
Boom. And you know what?
But what I'm saying is, what I'm asking you is, where is the danger? If you're teaching your kids abstinence, you're eliminating that danger of having sex. And if you're teaching your kids to use protection, you're eliminating the risk of STDs and pregnancy because they're using condoms, which are 98. If most condoms are 99%. So that's what I'm asking is, what is the other danger? I just literally gave you the answer.
What other dangers are out there, Cisco, when you're going out there to a bar and you're having a couple drinks with people and you're trying to take
psychologically, that could be harmful to you. Absolutely.
Let's say for a girl, let's make it gendered. For a girl, what dangers pose you right there?
What dangers pose you to what? What's the example?
Let's say my young daughter's out there. She's having a drink with a young man. She doesn't know him, but she's about to go
21 years old, right? 21 years old, out of the bar. Okay, what's a
couple dangers? What are a couple dangers facing her out there? She's got a condom in her back pocket.
Okay,
and she's been taking her birth control.
Okay. And she goes and hooks up with this guy.
What is something dangerous about her going home with a young man to go have sex?
Okay, see, that's okay. So you're saying she goes to somebody else's house.
50-50 chance. Is it still dangerous?
What you're bringing up, yes, that is dangerous.
So that to me outweighs all of them. First off, second off, so you could sit here and
I thought we were talking about sex. What are we talking about now?
That is still, but we're still talking about it's the hook up culture. What is dangerous about going out there and hooking up and doing this? Well, let me rattle off a couple dangers of just procuring, because
that's what I was asking you to do. That's what I'm asking you to do, and you haven't done any of that.
I just named everything, right? And you can say, well, we're teaching them about safe sex, so how is that a danger? It's still a danger, Save, because the risks are still there. And all of those risks, all of those actions, all of that shit, all just to reach a nut.
A climax. You mean one of the most epic experiences a man and woman could have? Is that what you're saying? No.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, like, I gave you an opportunity to list a bunch of things. You gave me a scenario. I could list a bunch of things off that scenario, but what I'm saying is sex in itself. You're
talking about just the action. Just
the action,
not the lead up, not the situation.
I understand where Corpse is coming from, because he's saying the sex culture. I get it. Going to somebody's house, going to a bar, not knowing where you're going after that, being drunk.
And the higher that number, the greater the risk. Point blank.
That is true. But that's, at least to me.
So what if they're going back to her crib?
So what if I not been saying this whole time? That's what I'm fucking saying this whole fucking time. Like, yes, it's a 98% chance. I get it. But when you take that number and you run it 1,000,002 fucking kajillion times, dog, the risk is
who's having sex 1,000,002 kajillion times, though, Corpse?
Hey,
both of y'all combined. Everybody
jerk off 4 times in a day. If you give me enough time. Don't play with me.
Hey, 4 times is rookie numbers.
Hey,
low key, I was kind of shocked that you picked such a low number.
No, I get you, Save. Like, we could try to, even if it was in the most absolute, right? We are still the 50-50 risk that you're taking with somebody without knowing if they've ever had a sexual experience. It just, that gamble alone opens up the statistical possibilities that are fucking limitless. You guys got to watch Brave New World, the new Captain America movie, because it's been making me think.
I watched that.
There's the whole thing with the statistics. I'm telling you.
It was okay. It was an okay movie.
It was
okay. I'm not gonna lie.
7.2.
No, that's way too. It's like a 6, solid 6.
Maybe, yeah. Okay. But yeah. So see, we can agree on some stuff.
See, God bless.
It's not that we're disagreeing. It's just, we are disagreeing on the body.
No, but I think you two are actually.
I don't think that it matters.
I think you two are actually kind of talking past each other a little bit. Like one's talking about the overall culture and the actions within that, and another's talking about like the more specific as the actions happen in that sense.
I can understand where Corpse
She's
is
senior
saying that. I
correspondent,
can
Kelly.
understand where Corpse is saying that the sex culture can be dangerous. Absolutely, I can see where you're coming from. That I'm not necessarily going to say that I 100% agree on it, but I can see where you're coming from, and I can agree on certain aspects. But I don't think that women should be held to a different standard when it comes to sex as men are. I don't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, I agree
Wait,
with
sorry,
that.
what is that?
100%.
I used to believe that. I used to believe that, but I do.
What does that
no longer
mean?
believe
What does that mean? Can you explain that a little bit more? Because what do you mean by
if a
different
woman's
standard?
body count is the same as a man's body count,
Oh,
it
okay,
doesn't
okay.
make them any different.
Oh yeah.
No, it does
I
not.
agree
It
with
does not.
that. I
No.
agree with that.
I think okay, because
But don't ask the questions you don't want to know the answer to. That's all I'm saying.
What's that stupid fucking? What's the stupid
I might
thing?
feel a little self-conscious about it. Like, damn.
A key that opens all locks is a master key, but a lock that opens to all
I hate
keys
that
is broken.
shit.
And that's why I believe that. That's why I believe that for so long. And here's why, right? Is because women hold that power, like they hold that power, bro.
Mhm.
Like you can, as a woman, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. As a woman, this thing is so fragile. As a woman, you are. This is for all the listeners out there. As a woman, you are capable of having more sex than men are having 100%. You can look at a man and be like, "Hey, you want to come back to my crib?" And you can have sex.
And we're
Men
just
can't
happy
do
to
that.
be there. Like,
Yeah,
you
men
know,
can't
like-
do that. Men cannot do that. We cannot do that. Most men can't do that.
If you're like a Brad Pitt type, who's like a hot male in
George
Hollywood?
Clooney.
George Clooney. Save, you're fucking breaking up on us.
Michael
Damn, I don't even know what you said. It was probably a slur.
His microphone is so crazy that it threw off his Wi-Fi. Threw off his Wi-Fi reception.
Can you hear me?
It was like breaking. It's still breaking up. We can't even see you. You're frozen.
What the fuck is going on, bro? This shit
Okay,
happened.
it's
Hey,
coming
you
back. It's coming
go.
back. It's coming.
Okay, can you hear me?
I was worried about my connection.
Michael B. Jordan walks up to any girl, he could probably fuck them.
Yeah, he's bagging for sure.
But that's one man.
He might
Out of how
bag
many
me. He
women
might
are
say, "Hey, Damien." I'm like,
Oh, he bagged
just
my
happy to-
ass for sure.
I'm just happy to be here, bro.
Yeah, I watch anime with you, and I don't even like anime, bro.
I'd go trans for him for
God,
sure.
jeez. Not even gay, bro. He's skipping right to
Michael
trans.
B. Jordan.
Yo,
What
I-
I'm saying,
can we get a
what I'm
quick-
saying is,
Can we get a quick happy Pride Month to everybody out there? I
Hey,
just
happy
want to show
fucking
some
Pride
love,
Month.
bro.
Happy Pride
My-
Month.
Happy
my-
Pride Month.
Bro, my girlfriend read a super sad story. Me and her she was getting a little emotional, but I did shed a tear or two. It was really sad. About there was like a voice actor with his husband got harassed by the people that he kind of in his neighborhood, to the point where they burned down his place, killed his animal, and shot him. And his husband had to watch him die, and it was the saddest shit. And like, hear my girlfriend read about that. I have people in my life who are, gay, so I'm like, us in California, we're like, how's that still a thing? What the fuck is happening?
It shouldn't be a thing anywhere.
Should not be a thing, bro. Love whoever the fuck you want to love. And yeah, shout out. Just happy Pride to everybody out there.
Be whoever the fuck you want to be.
Yeah, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Like we talk a lot of shit on this podcast, but
Yeah, I never wish
be
that
whoever
on
the
nobody.
yeah,
nobody.
be the person that you want to be. That's
Nobody.
that's what we that's what like we literally talk about that all the time on this podcast. Just be who you are, and it doesn't fucking matter, bro.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fucking matter to me.
And like that's like and I know how people fucking take me, whatever. That is like against everything I believe in, right? Because I believe in people should be left the fuck alone, right? And though I have my stances and we've all had our long fucking debates, I don't give a fuck what nobody be doing over there. You have the right to live. You have the right to be who you wanna be, right? Like, and so yeah, hearing stuff like that, bro, it pisses me off because it's
Yeah.
2025. Let people live, let live and let live. And if I want to be a fucking coochie munching motherfucker and you don't, cool.
Hey, I'll
Like,
fucking
you
munch some
know?
coochie, bro. Hey, I'm a coochie munching motherfucker.
Like, cool. Like, I ain't mad at nobody.
Yeah,
for it.
but yeah, no, that's
Cool.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
should
didn't-
be allowed to be who they are.
I did not mean to derail it like that, but yeah,
you're good.
For whatever reason, like clicked in my head, and I was like, I gotta just shout out, and that was a really
Well,
sad story.
you know, living here in San Diego, Pride is a very big thing, and
Celebrated him.
yeah, you know, but
See, like,
that's also a very big sex culture place. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I appreciate about Pride and the sex culture aspect of it, I will say this, is that they do have like big ass bins on the side of the road full of condoms, like
mhm.
trash cans full of condoms. I mean, it's
For
funny, but
like
like,
half a second, I thought you were gonna say they got big ass orgies. I was like, damn,
no,
oh my god.
but hey, even if you're gonna go back and have a big ass orgy, you know, I'm not
Do
a
it-
kink shamer, bro.
do it
Everybody likes what
safely.
they like. You know
No,
what I mean?
yeah.
Do your thing.
Do your thing,
I'll
man.
put a toe in my mouth. You know,
I'm over here, bro. I'm over here doing my thing.
Just
You do your
you know, let's not do it in the street, but the
Don't do it in the
condoms.
street.
That's great.
Base
Like,
condoms.
pass those out. You
yeah,
know.
just grab a couple, put them inside your G-string, and have fun later. You know what I mean? Like,
No problem. No
God bless.
problem.
Yeah.
Let's
God
keep
bless.
hey
that.
man, no problem.
No problem, my G. My G.
But nah, big thing. I didn't think that conversation was gonna go on as long as it did, and I know Corpse and I got a little bit heated, and you guys know it's always love in this shit. But
Yeah.
you know, I just think that I think that it's a bigger issue. I understand where Corpse is coming from on the feminism aspect of things, and yes, there may be some things. Like I said, with the whole feminism act or aspect of things, I do think that it's ruining some things as far as chivalry or chastity goes, but it's about how we as men control it as well, right? Like what we do with our women and how we deal with the women that we want in our lives. That's what matters most importantly.
Mm-hmm.
We could have a feminist women behind us, and I'm sure with the right attitude, they'll respect us and we'll do the same thing.
I don't see, like, and my thing is with all movements, whether it's feminist or this whatever, it's all good. But then there's some stuff I feel like they're trying to swing a little too hard this way. When it's like, no, that part's actually still good. Like, that part is still good. That part doesn't need to change, right? I think feminists are right when they say, well, men are whores too. Yes, they are. And boys are boys. Yes, they are. And girls are girls. Yes, they are. So it's good. No, it's not. It doesn't make it right, right? But if you have a 30 fucking body count, that doesn't disqualify you from being loved. That doesn't disqualify you from being lovable, being a good
Yeah,
mom.
what's that girl that was on the whatever podcast that she was the OnlyFans model and was like super popular. She was a redheaded girl, and then she like
became
after a while, huh?
The one that became a Christian?
Yeah, she became a Christian. She was like talked to Charlie Kirk one time.
Mm-hmm.
But she became like super religious and gave her life to God and was like, I switched my whole life around.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't even know.
that's what I'm saying. Like, girl, your pussy was all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of people seen this shit. And that's what I meant earlier, Corpse, is like people could change, bro. Like, she could be loved and be married and all types of shit.
Doesn't disqualify her from being loved, but
but does it lessen her value?
Loved by
Does it lessen
me.
her value though? Does it lessen her value?
Mm-mm.
So then what? So that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the issue?
Does it make her a fit mate for every person in the world? Right?
Why doesn't it? She now is under Christ and walks with Christ. Like,
because that has cleansed her spiritual body, my friend, not her earthly one. And no amount of baptismal will ever atone for that.
Okay, so based on that, is there a proper amount of bodies for a nun or a pastor once they give their life to Christ and start preaching?
They have complete abstinence. They are virgins through and through.
Fuck no, they're not. Pastors have
Jesus.
not been. Pastors can be married. What are you talking about? And have kids.
Of the Catholic Church?
I don't think they could be married.
Of any
actually.
church.
Christian priests are weird. Catholic, the fathers of the Catholic Church, I don't think they can, because you said nuns. So let me put a pin in that one. That's what made me assume Catholicism. I think nuns have to be virgins, or they have to take the cloth, and they don't have sex.
After they become a nun, they can no longer have sex. So that's what I'm asking. If I got 20 bodies before and then I become a nun, like what?
I don't see. It's going to be hard for me to really have an opinion.
Kelly, can you look it up for me? Can a nun have sex prior to becoming a nun?
I think we're still like kind of talking past each other a little bit. Like in one scenario, we're talking about like because a nun could be a nun. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they really do have to be a virgin. But we're talking about like a religious,
no longer have sex after.
But we're talking about the acceptance of like a religious structure based off of previous actions and whether or not those are forgiven, versus somebody and how they view somebody based off of sexual history, based off of like how many people have you had sex with. Am I gonna be okay with that number in my head? Mm-hmm. And then like a religious structure being like, you are okay because you've been cleansed by God and your past actions are of somebody, not of somebody else, but are forgiven. I think those are two completely like obviously different. Like
no, but I think it still falls in the category. I think it still falls in the category.
No, because this is kind of where maybe this can make a little bit of sense, right? Jacob, who is Israel, right, in the Bible, Jacob wrestled with God, and God broke his leg, right, popped it back into place, and then named him Israel, who was the father of the tribes, right? Israel still walked with a limp, right? So again, the spiritual body may be different and may be cleansed, but Jacob himself still walked with a limp after his wonderful feat with God, right? Israel means he who wrestles with God. You get what I'm saying? So yes, a nun, whatever, I get it, right? A part of their sin and all that has to do with their testimony, and that is, I get where I see where Zero says that we're talking past each other. The acceptance of a religious aspect, that's all one thing, right? And their sin is something that they have to atone for or whatever, boom, 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 boom. But somebody is still going to look at that number, whether you're saved or not, right? Like,
but how would they know that number without asking?
But that's just how, I mean, that's how we get there, right? They ask the question, and whether they're saved, not saved, boom, 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 boom. My just the whole thing for me, like, whether they value it, whether somebody values that or not, right? I think more of the point that I was trying to make sure that I shook home was like, the best way, right, is just don't do the fucking thing, right, and then start teaching everything down from the top down. Because
long ass message.
Because whether it's 10, 20, 30, 50, 40, the number doesn't really quite matter to me, but it is going to tell me how disciplined you've been with yourself, and potentially how healthy we could or couldn't be.
But then it does matter to you though, Corpse. That's what I'm saying. It does matter.
He's saying like the
girl that says
doesn't matter.
5,
it's the metric that it shows.
Because now there's other questions I have to ask. Because if it's 0, there's a lot less questions I have to ask, right? But if there's
name drop is crazy.
If there's but if there's 50 bodies, then there's other questions I need to ask. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why.
What though? Like what?
When's the last time you've been sexually active? How recent are you sexually active? When's the last time you've been tested?
I think those are normal questions though. Those are normal questions. When's the last time you were tested? I feel like that's a normal question.
Those are, but not everybody sees it that way, Zero. And my thing is
I'm safe.
Safe. Sorry. and so my thing is if I could look at every blank sheet of human being that exists in the world, I'm gonna tell them, keep it for as long as you can. because once you lose it, you never get it back, and everything after that gets a little squirrely. You start like now you kind of have to explain yourself, and I just rather them not. Just don't. Just like save it for as long as you can, because once you have to explain it, you're explaining it forever.
I know we're a little bit over our time, but I want to ask a question to both of you guys. If you were to ask somebody but what their body count is, and they say to you, I'd rather not disclose that. Like, I'd rather not talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say to you guys? I want to hear Zero first. Just because he hasn't talked a lot this whole fucking pod.
Y'all have been kind of going back and forth.
Corpse and I have been going back and forth, yeah.
No, yeah. I think, damn, if I said that, I don't know. Because it's hard to put myself in that place because I wouldn't ask that. You know what I mean? I tend to not want that shit ever to be disclosed to me because I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you did in the past. So if
whoever the fuck Jake is, shout out to him because he's been chilling in here this whole time, bro.
My man Jake. How disciplined you've been with yourself, my man.
Of course, spitting facts.
That's right. Hey, tell me some more good things about me.
If I ask somebody like, "Oh, what's your body count?" They're like, "I'd rather not say." In my opinion, I'd be like, "That means it's high," but also, it's hard.
Does it though? Does it mean it's high?
A lot of the times, it just like by human nature, you feel like the avoidance of answering gives more volume than like the answer itself.
Okay, I see where
but that doesn't mean it's high. No, it doesn't mean it's high. Just like kind of an automatic thing. But then if I talk to them a little bit about like, hey, why do you? And they give like a legitimate reason. Like, I don't really like talking about it because I don't think it matters. It's not very weighty. Then
so you would ask another question on top of that. Is what you're saying?
I'd probably let it breathe a little bit because now I feel a little awkward. Like, oh shit, I asked a little sensitive thing that like kind of hit something that I maybe am getting to a nerve with somebody on, but. Yeah, I'd probably ask about it because I'm still curious and I don't want to, because knowing me, I'd probably have the assumption of like, they might think that I will look at them differently. And I just want to make sure that they also know that like me asking that isn't necessarily a judgment on like, oh, should I get the fuck out of here? It's more of like a curiosity for whatever reason in this scenario that I asked.
But just to break up the monotony, you wouldn't ask that question.
No, like I said, I typically like my girlfriend knows more about my past relationship than I know about hers because I just don't ask stuff like that.
And why don't you ask about that?
To me, I feel like there's going to be tell signs of whether or not you're like still lingering on something in the past, or I don't know, there's just kind of vibes. So that's like one of the things that I care about. And if those aren't shown to me and I don't perceive those, then everything you did in the past, like, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it really matters to me. It matters to me how you make me feel, how you treat people around me now, and how you are currently, and who you will be in the future. That's what I care about. Because that's who I'm going to be with, not... And how you learned it might be interesting, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't... It's not the
but if it feels good, you know what I mean? Like you learned that from somebody else, but it feels good to me.
I have more. I think this one is more insecure than anything else.
It might be. It might be.
I know. For me, body count isn't as much as the issue. It's their distance. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, how close is this person still to you? Do they have some still type of access to you? Are they an ex-coworker? Or are they a coworker? Are they somebody from the church?
Did you fuck a friend type shit?
A homeboy. Yeah, like
I get you.
Y'all got a little too drunk on the fucking Friendsgiving and shit got
I think I can agree. I can agree with that one. That one I can agree with.
That one's more dicey for me because I'm too fucking old, right? Like, because I agree with you, Save. Like, don't I don't want you to ever get it twisted. Like, I'm big enough to handle not knowing, But what I need to know is if you're like, hey, this is my homeboy, we're best friends. Oh my god, it's like, whoa, hey, him? Did you
fuck him?
I would like. No, just kidding.
But even in the did you fuck him scenario, I've been in that situation before, and like I've still been cool with it. It's about me at this point. And I'm gonna give you every chance that you deserve. And if you fuck up, then bye.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I have no issue saying bye to you. Bye. Just tell me the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I think at that point, communication trumps everything. At that point, you know what I mean? Like, and if you
trumps, wow,
gang,
way to bring politics into the save. What the fuck, bro?
Thank you guys for another episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. No, but seriously, this is a good one.
Good little pod. Good little pod on the way. On the swing back.
A little month away. Next week we're gonna have Will on here.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Will I Am is coming to the chat. Everybody get excited. Everybody
Will I Am.
I want to give a Will I Am super quick shout out. And this guy doesn't need a fucking shout out from me. Jon Bellion album just dropped while we're on the fucking pod.
You were supposed to text me. You didn't text me.
It literally just dropped 8 minutes ago.
You're supposed to text me. You didn't text me.
I'm on the podcast, man. I'm telling you
verbally. Text me, motherfucker.
Oh my
God.
Text me. I'm going to listen to it in fucking 4D. I better hear his fucking breath on my cheek. I'm so excited to listen to this. Chill out, man. What? No homo. I'm very excited. Just shout out. Album is called Father Figures. How am I plugging a shit that's not even mine? I'm gonna
listen to it right now.
I love him as an artist, so I'm very excited to hear his album. I'm literally gonna go listen to it after this podcast. So, shout out. That's it.
I'm either gonna listen to it tonight or tomorrow morning. So I'll let you know my thoughts on it.
I'll text it to you. I will text it. I'll put it in the group chat.
No, because you use Spotify.
Oh yeah, you use Apple Music. Tiebreaker. Tell me what you use.
Wait, what? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I pulled something up on my phone to read off, and I missed it.
Do you use Apple Music or Spotify?
Spotify.
Let's go, bro. Come on, man. This is the usual Tuesdays. We're here usually on Tuesday. I appreciate everybody.
All day, baby. Come on.
Thank you guys so much for another beautiful episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. Thank you for all the Apple Music listeners that listen to our podcast on Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. No.
or
I listen to our podcast back on Apple Podcasts.
Or what's that? Tidal or on Tidal. We are also. I don't think we're there actually.
No, we're not on Tidal.
Most importantly, on Spotify. Fuck yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Damien. Anyways, it's been a month, man, and thank you guys so much for sticking us out this long. Matter of fact, I will post a picture of the three of us together on my Instagram tomorrow. At SaveOneer, SAVE, the number 1 ER. I'll post a picture of us when we were all together after the comedy show. But thank you guys for rolling with us. I know it's been quite some time since we've been live. Hope this was a good listen. And for the listeners that are live, Kelly, and what was the other dude's name? Jake.
Jake.
Shout out
Jake. And Will.
Shout out
and
to Jake
Sam.
and Will. Will and Sam.
Yep.
Again, if Thomas Produced, make sure you guys go check out Thomas Produced on Instagram and YouTube. His projects are absolutely amazing. And you know what's this is just like a quick plug. I don't even think Sam is still in here anymore, but just a quick thing. When I was watching the new short film that he pulled out, I did notice some of the Easter eggs that he put in there, and I was like hoping that he wasn't gonna put out an Easter egg video about it, because for the people that have been watching him as long as we've been watching him, I was like, oh, this is kind of like a thing for us. But he wound up putting out an Easter egg video, and I'm glad to have captured every single Easter egg that he put in the short film. So shout out to Sam again. Thomas Produced on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you guys follow me at SaveOneer on every platform that you can, I guess. I am on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter. I'll post on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, SaveOneer, gaming streams. But thank you guys again for listening to an amazing podcast. It's been a month with these guys. As always, you guys stay healthy, stay happy. I love y'all. Keep smiling. See you guys on the next one.
Big Corpse, the Smoking Section, Usual Tuesday podcast. It was a month. A month came and a month gone, my boys. Thank you as always. The wonderful, powerful, and amazing 0% and Save One. Corpsecollection.com. You hood rats know. I have a surprise design coming out here soon for the babies. So anybody looking for some summer clothes for the kids, come through, slide through, you know the deal. Today's verse comes from the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 35. It says, "But love your enemies, do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be the sons of the Most High." Yeah, it's that thing of give with no expectation of anything in return. Yeah. And what I want to say on top of that is these are God's laws, and I follow them because they are right, right? They are right, and they make them. That's why they are God's laws. If that makes sense, right? Until next time, have a good day, week, month of your life.
Damn, Zero's put on the spot.
I know, a little bit.
To go.
How bad? I think I waited a little too long, and then I was like, "Oh wait, Corpse is not supposed to go." Yeah, listen, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I cannot follow up those wise words of wisdom, but I appreciate everybody who's been on this podcast. Save Corpse. That month, it was a nice little break. You know, I love the pod, but it was a good little breather. Kind of unplanned. We didn't mean to, but it kind of just one person couldn't do it, then I couldn't do it. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Damn, that guy's going fast. Whether you're here for the,
you heard that?
Yeah. Whether you're here for the live stream, here live in the flesh, you're watching the playback, or you're watching, for a minute, an hour, the whole thing. I appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, for sticking around. Peace out. Bye.
All right, boys.
All right, guys. Have a good night. You guys be safe.
Peace. I was a knight in shining armor in your movie. I put your lips on mine and love the aftertaste now. Ooh, ooh. I'm a ghost, I call your name, you look right through me. Oh my God, what the fuck is going on with this camera? You're the reason I'm alone and masturbate. Oh my God, bro. I've been trying to fix my... All right, I'm over this. I've been trying to fix my pride, but that shit's broken. That shit's broken. Yeah. I'm about to listen to John Bellion on some great headphones. I'm so excited. I'm bringing out the big boy headphones. The Sony WH-1000. They're horrible at naming, but these are called the MX3s, regarded as some of the best headphones in the game when it comes to audio, noise cancellation. I'm literally about to put these bitches in and listen to Father Figure. Go listen to that album. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to try to stream. I say that every fucking time. Be safe. Thanks so much for being here.